Our goats are a commercial meat goat herd, so largely crossbred, with the vast majority of them being a base of Kiko, which is a breed from New Zealand. But we also have Boer and Spanish. Boer goats originated in South Africa, so they're very adaptable to hot, dry climates, which doesn't always work well for us here with the wet, cold weather that we have. That's why we like the Kikos that originated in New Zealand, because they can adapt to our weather patterns much better and have a greater survival instinct as compared to the Boers. Kiko buck that we bought and bred to our commercial Bordeaux originated in Western Washington from a breeder. Since then, we've begun bringing genetics out of Illinois from a breeder who matches his management style very closely with what we're trying to achieve here, which is very hands-off, largely forage-based, so as that we can bring a buck from his environment, which is actually harsher than ours due to his forage quality, and he'll be very successful out here on our place. Goats are not cattle. Goats are an animal that very much require extremely secure fencing, because they're always looking for a way to get in or get out of something. And then you also need to have some way to protect them from predators. In our area, we have a lot of coyotes. There are cougars and bobcats. And if you don't have some way, whether that be a night pen or in a barn at night that's very tight and secure, or in our case, we run livestock guardian dogs with our goat herds to protect them. When it comes to veterinary care, personally, we do all of that ourselves, more or less. We might have a vet out once a year for something, but most of that is all for ourselves, and that's due to experience in how to treat things, as well as cost. It's too expensive to have a vet come out and do a lot of things to your herd. You have to be able to do it yourself. So the largest commercial market for goat is on one coast or the other, more or less. But it's the ethnic communities. Goat is the #1 red meat consumed worldwide. For a lot of people native to the U.S., they may not have grown up eating goat, but if you grew up outside of the U.S., you probably grew up eating goat. It doesn't matter what culture. It seems like everybody eats goat, or there is some sort of religious holiday where they prefer goat. A lot of times I could compare it to us on Thanksgiving eating the turkey. Everybody has a turkey on Thanksgiving. Well, in other ethnic communities, that's what they have, is a goat. If they have a large celebration, so for instance, in the Hispanic community, quinceañeras, a lot of times they will have a goat that they will cook for a quinceañera. There are African communities that will have some sort of celebration, and they'll barbecue 2 or 3 goats and celebrate with the whole community. That is the largest consumer of goat meat. So for us personally, a lot of our goat, our largest market is in California, and that's where most of our goat actually goes. If you get east of the Rockies, a lot of the goat produced in that region goes to the East Coast or to the Chicago metro area. Lamb will achieve some sort of marbling to it, but goat doesn't. Goat doesn't marble at all, and any fat on a goat is often it's just considered waste. It's middle of the summertime. It's not that much because I combine a lot of other tasks while I'm there with the herd. I go out and I will check water, I'll change irrigation water, I'll check fences, and at the same time I'm checking the herd. That might take 15 minutes, it might take an hour a day. Springtime, when we're kidding, that's 24 hours a day around the clock until we're done. And so that's a very, very time-consuming part of the year when we start kidding. This time of year is a little, there's a little bit more for me to do because we're on crop residue grazing the goats. I have to move fences a lot more often than as if we're in our semi-permanent fenced pastures, as well as haul water because we don't have stock water to those areas. I think about quitting every day. Every day. It's not easy. It's extremely, extremely hard. I guess I'm too stubborn and I have too many commitments, and that's why I'm still here. And I'm too stubborn to call the bank and say I'm done. I'm going to sell out, but it's extremely hard. It's not easy. In this day and age, especially in this digital age, where we can see and hear everything instantly, there's always something coming around that's trying to do something to you. Whether it's a new plant-based product, meat product they're trying to push, or whether it's taxes, whether it's the change in the local economy. And it's not necessarily, the day-to-day is a physical beating on your body, but all these other things are mentally. And it is hard. And you have to want to be here. Learn to roll with the punches. And you have to learn what's within your control and what's not. It's extremely hard. And especially when there's other areas that I could go and make 3 times the money and work half as much. And so it's not easy to stay in the industry. You have to want to stay in the industry. The biggest thing I can say is there's no one lesson. Every day is a lesson. I grew up in this industry, in the ag industry, and at a young age, as a kid growing up in it, you learn a lot more, a lot faster than the peers that you have around you that aren't in the industry. I grew up holding hands with life and death, is how I'll put it. And I still do that now. And I still have to make decisions that are life and death, literally for my animals. And I have to make decisions that are extremely difficult to make for my operation. And if I make the wrong decision, it's not a simple, oh, well, big deal, better luck next year. When I make the wrong decision, it's usually an extremely hard financial burden. The life lesson that you learn in ag, in this lifestyle per se, is that none of them are easy. Every lesson you learn hard, but it's the ones that cost you money. Those are the ones that you learn the quickest.